Welcome to New Stripe City, YouTube channel for diehard Bengals fans. I'm your host, Ace Boogie, and welcome to Q&Ace. What we do here is answer all fan questions live. I try to bring you guys in. You can also send in super chats, whatever you prefer to do. I usually enjoy when you guys come on so I can answer your questions. We can talk about everything. Obviously, we just had the draft. But if you're new here, and you haven't subscribed, please be sure to hit that subscribe button. We also have a partnership with LFG Cincy. I'm wearing some of their merch right now. So if you like this Cincy hat or if you like this shirt, lfgcincy.com. Use the keyword ACE. That helps support me if you're really trying to help me out and continue building these relationships in this channel. Do that. And then we're doing a free giveaway. We just hit 9,000 subscribers. So I appreciate you guys for sure. If we get to 15, I'm going to give away a jersey. My goal was to get to 10K, so I'm still going to do some kind of giveaway once we get to 10K. I actually have a Tyler Boyd autograph that I may give away. So there's a couple items I'm debating about that I can give away during then, and I think the Tyler Boyd one is going to be one of them. So please be sure to hit that subscribe button because when we get to 15,000, it'll be one of the jerseys. So I'm going to go ahead and share the link here in the chat. This is the link that you can use to join the show. And so I'm just going to go ahead and post this in, and I'm going to pin it real quick. Houday from Las Vegas. Cheese Lee, appreciate that, bro. Randy Boggs, what's up, man? What's going on? Josh Holland, what's up? Appreciate y'all. But yeah, if you use this link, you can come into Q&A so we can talk. You can ask me any kind of questions that you want. There's also super chats that you can do as well. So whatever you do is fine. And we already got our first guest of the night. Looks like my man Aquila. So I'm going to go ahead and bring him in. I truly appreciate everything he does for the Discord. So I'm going to bring him in. What's up, Aquila?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, bro. How you doing?
I've been much better, but this draft making my life much better.
Yes,
I
sir.
love this draft. I have a question though. With this new off season, the way it's been feeling, it's been a lot different ever since Zach's come in. You know, the Marvin Lewis off season seemed a lot more stiff, but this one seems a lot more free flowing. They've been addressing a lot more needs. But at the same time, the main season has left a lot to be desired. Which one do you prefer? Do you prefer a winning right out the gate like Marvin Lewis did, or do you prefer the slow building and giving Zach Taylor just one more year to show what he can do?
I mean, I think we all would probably prefer the winning out of the gate just because it's been 5 years since we've won. But I think with the Zach situation, me personally, myself, I had to step back and just look at it realistically. It's a new coaching staff. It's a new system, new scheme, new players that have to come in, new offense that has to be learned. So I actually, at first, I would probably say the Marvin way. But now that I'm seeing what Zach is building here, I kind of like what he's doing. I really, truly love the drafts that he's had. And I used to love the Marvin ones until the last couple of years when he was here. But I actually like the Zach Taylor drafts. Now, obviously, the first year, it was a mixed bag. But I have to give him the benefit of the doubt. It's his first year drafting. And then you look at the draft from last year, I really feel like they knocked that one out of the park, although many thought that they should have obviously picked up more linemen than Hakeem Adeniji, but Hakeem Adeniji is a good player. All the other guys are good players. Khalid Kareem, you talk about T. Higgins, you talk about Joe Burrow. I mean, they really knocked that draft out of the park. The only thing was Joe Burrow ended up getting hurt, so a lot of people aren't going to look at it that way, but that was a really good draft, especially when you compare it to some of the ones from Marvin's last years when he was here, primarily 2015 and some of those other ones. But you look at what he did in this draft, and I honestly, truly love it. I feel like he satisfied both sides of the fence, people that wanted them to protect Burrow and get better in the trenches, and people that wanted chasing another weapon. And I think that he did that, and I think that we're going to see definitely some fruits of his labor from this offseason. And I'm not even talking about free agency. That's a whole other thing. That's even more that he's done there than Marvin really did. And I just think the whole culture change, the buy-in, I think it's just really going to come all together. in this third year. I really truly do believe that, and I do think that it'll be worth it. Like, yeah, we haven't been to the playoffs in 5 years, but I think we felt like we were kind of being held back in some facets and forms based on the previous regime. And obviously, we do demand and need more from Zach Taylor, but I think sometimes we kind of overlooked all of the changes that really needed to take place because we were stuck in a cycle where Marvin Lewis never really did full resets outside of maybe you could probably say 2011, but they usually kept a lot of the same coaches, the same players intact. Yes, there were big names that left like Carson Palmer and Ocho Cinco, but the Geno Atkins and the Carlos Dunlaps and all of those guys remained, and they just brought in AJ Green and Andy Dalton. And most of those coaches kind of remain the same when you talk about Zimmer up until he left. They brought back Hugh Jackson. So Marvin Lewis never, in my opinion, ever did a full rebuild. And we've kind of been used to that. And Zach has now done his full rebuilds. And so now we get to see it. But I know I've been long-winded on this, but I just wanted to give Zach the credit and say that even though I would love to see some winning seasons, I think that he's right there.
And I just have one more thing. I forget if it was Zim or you that brought it up, but in the podcast with John Sheeran and Anthony, someone brought up the fact that there's been a lot more defensive acquisitions just through free agency and the draft than there has been on offense. So I'm wondering if before Zach Taylor is even on the hot seat in the eyes of the Bengals front office, if Lou's going to be on the hot seat, because they went full, like, besides Joe Burrow and T. Higgins, it was linebacker.
Right.
And then this year, besides Jackson Carman and Jamar Chase, it went lineman on the defensive side, and then they got Deontay, and then they went right back to Wyatt Hubert. So do you think it's going to be Lou on the hot seat before Zach Taylor?
Yeah, I would definitely say it would be Lou on the hot seat before Zach Taylor, especially the way the season ended. So, like, for Lou, I think that he was on the hot seat last year, and then he had a couple of games there down the stretch where the defense bounced back, but then they had some bad showings to close the season. You talk about the Ravens nearly setting a record against us. They may have set a record. It was like 400 or 500 rushing yards against us. And then there was obviously the departure of Carlos Dunlap, which most people felt like that was Lou's doing, and I'm not going to confirm or say what it is, or, you know, people are going to speculate, but a lot of people just at the end of the day believed that Lou Anarumo wanted to move on from Carlos Dunlap. So I kind of understand both sides of that spectrum, because when Lou took over this defense, you have to realize the defensive coordinator from Florida passed on the job. He said that there was no way that he can make it work with the players that they had. And I think that Lou took the position, but we can't forget that aspect of it, right? So if they're changing the entire scheme, which I'm a Carlos Dunlap guy, I love Carlos to death, but if they're asking Carlos Dunlap to drop into coverage and do all of this stuff where he doesn't exactly fit the scheme, but they were married to him because they signed him and Geno to extensions before Lou was even here, and he doesn't fit your scheme, then I think that's part of the reason that Lou wanted to move on from him and move him out of there. But we heard that the front office really didn't want to do that. And when you have to move on from these players and get people to buy into your way being the right way, yeah, it's going to put anybody on the hot seat, especially when you talk about letting William Jackson III walk and signing some other corners that are your guys into this defense. Now, we saw some of it last year, and it seemed to work. However, his guys that he brought in ended up getting hurt. You talk about DJ Reader, lost for a season at one point. Mackenzie Alexander had his fair share of missed games at some points. And then you talk about Trey Waynes, who missed an entire season. And so with them spending all of this money, like you said, involving that, investing that draft capital to give Lou the tools that he's probably preached to them that he's needed, yeah, that's definitely going to put him on the hot seat if they come out here and they are still a defense that ranks near the bottom of the league. I mean, 17 sacks is just not acceptable. And it's funny because Willie Anderson, when he was on a podcast, I think it was on Locked On, he stated that he felt like the transition to the 3-4 was going to be a reason why we didn't get many sacks. And we kind of saw that last year. Now you see all of these edge rushers that they draft. You see them go out and get more defensive tackles because they needed them, honestly. Like when DJ Reader went down, they had no one. And I think John talked about that, or someone talked about it last night, saying that they didn't have a DJ Reader to put in there. And so he had to go and get those guys. And so I'd say, yeah, Lou's definitely on the hot seat for sure coming into the season if the defense doesn't prepare. I think he's more likely, like if they're going to use any kind of scapegoat, I think it would be Lou first as the first guy. But we'll have to see what his defense looks like. I mean, he's got guys in the locker room now that buy in. He's got guys that fit his scheme now. So I think we should see some vast improvement. And the other thing is, you talked about the linebackers. The one thing is that with those guys, all three of those guys being young, they kind of had, especially in a season where there was COVID, there was, not your typical offseason. It's a lot to ask three rookie linebackers to play at a Vontaze Burfict-like level their first year. So I think hopefully they got their learning curve out of the way. And when I say young linebackers, I'm talking about Logan Wilson, Akeem Davis-Gaither, also obviously my man Marcus Bailey. I think that they are going to have that year under their belt, and hopefully they can understand how to evolve this defense because we really need them. I was not the biggest fan of the veteran linebacker that we had last year from the Ravens. So we'll have to see. But, Lou's job is, I think, probably the hottest right now. Zach's still going to feel some heat too. But I think if Zach, even if the defense plays trash and let's say Zach gets 7 to 9 wins, I think that his job is secure.
Yeah, for sure. I just want to see more winning because – losing's like an infection. It grows on people, and eventually you just get used to it. And when young players get used to losing, you can't really get that off the record until they move places.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's where I think that they are injecting a lot of guys that come from winning in championship teams because they just want to get that whole bad losing energy, I think, out of the locker room. Not saying that the guys from the Marvin Lewis era didn't win, but, it's just been pretty stale the past couple of seasons. And when you bring in guys like Jackson Carman that have won championships and been in championship locker rooms, they know how to react under pressure. And I just still point back to when we brought Mike Daniels onto the show, and he just talked about the mindset with the Steelers. For years, people that were involved in those Steelers games, the Steelers were just in our heads. And for them to bring in guys like Von Bell and guys that are used to beating the Steelers, the mindset changed. And it just shows you how quickly things can change in a game that I myself included didn't think we were going to win or had a shot in. We just end up dominating them. And if they can keep that same energy into some of these other games, and then I think that they can win more. I mean, I was just looking back at some of the old Orange is the New Black podcast episodes, and you almost tend to forget the Bengals were in a lot of those games last year. Like at one point, I think I said we should be like 6-2, but there were just things that didn't go our way, injuries, the plays at the end of the Chargers game,
Fat
Randy, the Browns game. So there just were things that didn't go our way, and had they gone another way, this team is, and I'm not trying to make excuses for the coaching staff or anything, but it's just the reality of the situation. Like if things go our way, we're probably, at least probably 7 wins, I'd probably say.
We probably don't have Jamar Chase.
Exactly. So everything happens for a reason. Like the fact that we didn't get that, we probably now get Jamar Chase, and this offense goes to the next level, and the division is going to have to keep up with our offense. And it's not just for the division, it's also for the entire conference. And it's a smart move because one of the things that, and I know I'm being long-winded, but I just like talking about this stuff when it comes to mind. But a good friend of mine said, man, the AFC is loaded at the quarterback position. Like you're talking about Trevor Lawrence coming to this division. You already have Pat Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert. Like it's loaded. Like just take a Lamar Jackson. Like just go and look at every AFC quarterback in this conference. All of them are loaded. And so you have to do little things like get into Jamar Chase and an elite receiving core in order to separate yourself from those other quarterbacks and give yourself an advantage. And so I think that's what the Bengals are trying to do. And I think hopefully because they ended up getting that top 5 pick, that was kind of, I guess, the dirty cake. I guess this is the sweet part of the dirty cake to get Jamar Chase and to get the trenches right.
Yeah, for sure. But thank you for your time. I'll let other people get on here. Have a good night.
Yeah, thank you, man. Appreciate that. So for you guys watching, we got over 100 people watching right now. This is Q&Ace. I've got a link up here. It's right down there. You can click on that link and get pulled in and actually appear on this video, and I can answer your questions and things like that. If you don't want to show your face, you can send a super chat. That will be a guaranteed answer. But I'm going to bring in my man Nandin real quick. Nandin, what's going on, bro?
Hey, Ace. Yo, man, that draft. That draft, we picked, I kid you not, 4 out of the 10 players are people who I predicted.
Wow.
Picked Jamar Chase, obvious, because I said either Panay or Jamar. That counted. Right. We got Jamar. We ended up getting Cam Sample, whom I talked to you about in previous Q&As. I told you in a mock draft, I said Cam Sample.
Right.
We got Evan McPherson, who I wanted. But we got him a bit early, but that's okay. We need a kicker because, Matt Randy and Austin Seibert not going to cut it. And we took one player that I liked that most people aren't big on in Wyatt Huber. If you haven't seen game tape, he's good. He's not bad. He had like 9 sacks last year. He's a good player. So based off of our draft, I just want to know your opinion on the grades I gave. And I have one more question after. So for Jamar Chase, A+ pick. Jackson Carman, I gave it a B because I think he's better than people put him out to be. Like he's better than like most people are saying, oh, we reached, or oh, he's not as good as other prospects. Jackson Carman protected the blind side of Trevor Lawrence for 2 years, and he did it at a high level, and he did it really well. Plus, Willie Anderson gave him the okay. I trust Willie Anderson. I'm sorry. Like people don't know what Willie Anderson's saying because they're obviously just looking at names instead of actual game tape. But I gave him a B. Joseph Osai, A+. Positional value and where we got him. And he was in some mocks, he was meant to go in the first round. And we got him in the third. So that's an A++. He's really awesome. Cam Sample, A-. That guy he got the Senior Bowl defensive MVP. And if you've seen him in the warm-ups in the Senior Bowl and also during the game, he was unblockable. Like, he was getting through from the inside, from the outside. It didn't matter where. They lined him up all over the D-line. He was getting past those linemen. And those guys were like, from big schools like Oklahoma and like Alabama. So he was like showing up for a guy from Tulane. That's amazing. Tyler Shelvin, I gave it a C+. I'm not really big on Tyler Shelvin. I watched his film. He's all right. He's a run stuffer. He's kind of like going to be like a DJ Reader kind of role. I don't see him making too much of an impact, but the LSU connection obviously makes it, cool because of Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and all. But I think overall that's a C+. Deontay Smith, A. That's an underrated pick, just like Hakeem Adeniji. Deontay Smith is an A. I watched him in the Senior Bowl too, and I watched his game tape as well. The guy is an extremely technically sound tackle and guard. He can play tackle and guard, and he doesn't let people by him. He's always like technically sound, blocking properly. So that was a good pick. Evan McPherson, I wanted to give this an A. But I gave it a B because we picked him in the 5th round, but he is the best kicker that, like people said, like draft specialists said, he's the best kicker in the draft. So I think you got a steal there. Trey Hill, he's a center guard. I gave him a B because he's got some injury concerns and he has some snapping issues from what I heard. But overall, he's a pretty good blocker. He's not bad. I watched his film. He's pretty good. Chris Evans, another B. He's like a Giovanni Bernard type running back. So I liked how he was catching passes out the backfield, and he was actually pretty good in the open field when he runs. And Wyatt Huber, he's a sleeper, and I gave him a B plus. A B plus.
Okay.
He had like 9 sacks. He has a high motor, constantly going. He doesn't stop until the whistle's blown. He's like Sam Hubbard. I compare him to Sam Hubbard and Trey Hendrickson because of the motor and high effort sacks. Every sack he got was a high effort sack. You know, it wasn't just, you know, the QB running into him. He like fought for the sacks. So
Right.
overall, our draft, as I predicted us getting a B. I remember I mentioned it on your thing, but I think overall this is like a B plus A minus type draft. So it was a good draft. What do you think about that, Ace?
I think you're spot on. The only thing I disagree with you on, I think, is the LSU defensive tackle. The only reason is because with how bad our run defense was, I think he's going to help us tremendously. Because the big thing that you said about there was DJ Reader. When DJ Reader went out last year, that is when the bleeding started, right? You talk about the Cleveland game that just comes to mind, the first one, where Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb are just killing us. They're just killing us with the run game. You talk about the Ravens. So I actually think he's going to be a good pick. I keep saying this. I don't know if it's going to happen because they have so many linemen on the team. And I think that this guy, and when I say this guy, I'm talking about Renell Wren. I don't think he's a lock to make the roster. But I would love to just play Cleveland and say, here's Renell Wren. Here's the kid from LSU. I dare you to run on the inside on us. Like, it's not going to happen. Like, you're just going to run into a wall every single time. And I think that he's really going to help us out a lot. But there's not much disagreement from what you said. But I am excited about that guy because I got a couple of comments from LSU fans. And this is something similar to when we drafted Auden Tate. A lot of them are popping in the comments saying, you guys just got to steal. Like, you know, and seeing some of the stuff about the guy, like there was nothing really bad that they could really say. It's like, oh, you know, he didn't do great in the classroom. And I'm like, these guys are NFL players. I'm not expecting honor students here. And so I am excited to see him, but I think, like you said, A minus. I'm giving it an A minus just simply because they attacked the trenches, and that's what they needed to do. That's where their issues were. And then they also added Jamar Chase on top of that. I'm not mad at the kicking pick either because if you don't pick him, maybe there's another team that jumps in front of you before you pick in the 6th round and takes the kicker, and then you're stuck with Austin Seibert, which is if it's that I passed on someone that I could have gotten in the 6th round, that's probably a guy that's probably entrenched on the bench or a starting kicker, I'm going to take the kicker all the time. Like if he's just I don't even want to bring that guy up because he ended up having the domestic violence issues. But if he's just and I think his name was Mike Brown or something like that. He was a kicker that we had, and we ended up getting rid of him. He signed with another team. Well, I don't know if it was Mike Brown. I forget the guy's name, but he kicked a game-winning field goal, I believe, against the Steelers, and we got rid of him. But as long as he's a solid kicker for us and we don't have to think about it, if we don't have to say, oh, here's Fat Randy again, is he going to make this? Is he going to miss it? Then I'm good with it. But
you know, man, I gotta tell you, as far as the linemen we picked, I think like most people are casuals. They don't watch the Senior Bowl. They don't watch draft tape. Game tape. They don't watch like the technical like breakdowns of film. And honestly, I think like when we picked guys like Deontay Smith, Cameron Sample, Jackson Carman, and even Trey Hill, I looked up like those linemen they're very good. Like they're playing against high competition. Like especially Jackson Carman. You see his film against Chase Young.
Oh, I can't. I'm gonna break that down. Like I'm breaking that down tomorrow. So
yeah,
it's coming.
That was awesome. But you know what I forgot to mention? We also in the undrafted free agency, we took Puka Williams.
Yes.
So Puka Williams, I watched I didn't know much about him. I watched his tape and he's good. Like he looks really good. He's like explosive. You know, we don't have explosive running backs. We don't. Like, our running backs aren't like they get yards. Like, Joe Mixon's amazing, but he's not like explosive. He's a patient runner that gets like maybe 15, 20 yards, right?
Yeah.
Like that. But now if you have Puka Williams in there, he could break away and like for like a 60-yarder, because he's got the speed and he's also very agile. So I think that's a steal. And for Chris Evans, it's going to be a battle because Puka
Chris
Williams,
Evans, I actually not to cut you off, it definitely is going to be a battle between him and Puka. I just did some research on Chris Evans. The comparison that they had for him was David Montgomery, like the guy from the Bears. And I did some digging yesterday. He might be a hidden gem. He was a guy that had some academic issues, and that was one of the reasons they kept him off the field. But when you look at him, the small like sample size that you do have, he could potentially be a gem. But you're right, Puka Williams is also a guy that could also be there as well. But go ahead, Nander.
Yeah, because I was saying this because I felt that our running game is underrepresented. We pretty much rely on Joe Mixon most of the time. Like, Samaje Perine comes in sometimes to fill in, and Travion Williams barely sees the backfield. Like, he's on special teams. Right. So if anything, if we upgrade the O-line, we should start running it more. Like, if we could somehow keep both Puka Williams and Chris Evans, somehow, I think we'd be awesome in the backfield with Joe Mixon, Puka Williams, and Chris Evans, because that's a triple threat. You got thunder, lightning, and another bit of lightning because you got two fast runners. And last thing before I go, Ace. Last thing before I go, I almost feel like our receiving core now not only could be the best in the AFC North, we're contending for the AFC for with this receiving core: T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, and Jamar Chase. And if our line gets upgraded, there's no stopping us.
Yes,
we can't stop. What do you think about that?
I think so, bro. I think so. I gotta head on because we got some other people waiting in the back. But yeah, I do think that we could potentially have the best receiving core in the AFC North for sure.
We got it, man.
Yes, sir. Who they, Nanda?
Who they?
All right, we got some other people waiting in the back. I'm gonna bring in my man Z. What's going on, bro?
Oh, hi. Is my mic working?
Yep, your mic's working.
Alrighty. Well, I'm more of a casual. The last guy is way above my head in terms of trying to figure out who the best player for the draft is. I'm just really intrigued by, all this talk about the draft. And obviously I know that statistically speaking, looking back, most of the good players that's been through our league comes because people drafted them versus undrafted. I think that part is obvious, but it's statistics, probability that not every player, in fact, more times than not, the players you pick from the draft are not going to pan out from that big team, and a lot of stuff being overhyped, underhyped, and then there's also a whole process of coaching process. You kind of don't know if how they're going to go through with the coaching. You think that when the coaches pick them that they're going to be all right and set, and most of the time it's going to pan out the way you expect, which probably, in my opinion, isn't that great. If it just pans out with the way you kind of expected. I mean, obviously for many people they've set the bar pretty high, but then again, if you find a player that just goes with the scheme, usually what happens with talented players that seem to stand out are the players that seem to go beyond than the expectations plan on them. So it's really interesting, all this draft talk, and see how they fit into this system. And obviously one of the biggest factor is we're talking about the future. When we pick them, we talk about not just simply the short-term future, because they might have big impact, but also the long-term future. But obviously, if you're talking about that, we should also talk about some players who, I don't know if this segment is dedicated to just only the draft players or the players who are, be previously drafted, and see how well they're working in the system. And obviously the players that, kind of fall out of our system too.
Right. No, I think you're right. I think a lot of people aren't talking about Khalid Kareem, and I don't just bring him up on here just because we simply had him on the show. Like if you go back and watch some of those games, he's a guy like I didn't even know that he was getting snaps in the first week, and I went back and looked at the Chargers game, and there's so many times that he's right near the quarterback, but you can tell that he was kind of adjusting to the speed of the NFL, and I think if he works on that this is a guy that probably could have had 6 or 7 sacks just last year, maybe even 8 potentially if he's just in the right position. And you're bringing in more competition to help him. He even told me like they needed depth in that locker room, so them getting all of these edges definitely makes sense. And I think that you point to something else that's good too. You got to look at the past guys and how they develop and how they can step up for next year. But Z, I appreciate that, man. I got a couple other people waiting to get on. So, was there anything that you want to say before you get out?
Well, I just want to say, not all the players, come from the draft. I mean, the best kicker in the league. We were talking about the best kicker. The best kicker in the league actually wasn't drafted. Yeah, Justin Tucker of the Ravens. He wasn't drafted. I mean, even the best quarterback, Tom Brady, he technically was basically about to not be drafted because at the combine they're talking about all the worst things that came out of his, combine stats.
Right, definitely.
So yeah, I mean, like, it's always like we always approach this with a huge grain of salt when we talk about draft and future and stuff like that. I mean, statistically, it works in our favor, but only by the most narrowest of margins. And this is all good on paper, having all the talents on paper, but truthfully, we really want to see somebody stand out on the field.
No, I'm with you. All right, Z, who day, brother?
Who day?
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and bring in my man Brandon. What's going on, Brandon?
Oh, nothing much. How's it going, Ace?
Chilling, bro. Chilling and enjoying this Sunday after the draft. Just reflecting and maybe on
Not much.
everything.
No, sorry about that. Not
Right.
much. Just got a few little comments because I'm from the 513
Yes, sir.
Bond Hill area.
Yes, sir.
It's just funny how like a lot of our fan base reacted to this draft. I mean, now I pretty much lived all the way from the second Super Bowl run, and went through the whole '90s series. Still a Bengals fan. I ain't care. I'm a Bengals fan.
Right.
Got my Jeff Blake jersey. The Keo Spikes era, all that, and we was pretty much a terrible team. But the real fan base stuck with them regardless.
Right.
And here come Marvin, here come Palmer, Chad, Hush Mazada, Slim, and we was doing our thing.
Right.
Like you said, 05, that was ours.
Right. Facts.
What was that? 15, that was ours.
Right.
And even this past year, like you said, we was in pretty much majority of the games.
Right.
It was Big Belly Randy missing them field goals, or he slip on a pie he done dropped or something. Oh, don't forget about his calf. He don't know which calf it was, but one of them calves was hurting, something like that. So, I mean, come on. I mean, the fans really need to understand. We need a kicker in them tight games, and then on top of that, we need somebody that knows what they're doing out there.
Facts.
Now, I do like this draft because we did hit a lot of key positions. And I can't remember who said it. Okay, let's just say we did draft Panay. Okay, what about the rest of the line?
Right.
They're gonna start attacking them vulnerable spots in that line. So when the Bengals started just piecing in here and there, even with the free agents, who's to say that's not gonna work?
Facts.
Everybody already, oh man, I ain't a Bengals fan no more. I'm gonna be a Cleveland fan. All right, peace. No, let them go. I told them, hey, keep that same energy when we winning.
Right.
Don't come back. No. I bet not see you in no Bengals pro shop. Don't order nothing online. They got Bengals. shoot, change your area code, do all that.
For real.
So I like this draft. I think they're looking to do big things. I mean, yeah, we might need a few small extra pieces, or at least I'm gonna give what's his name, Kareem.
Mhm.
I'm gonna give him a chance. I mean, he had some snaps and all this and that. Like you said, he trying to get used to the speed, and I think also with the linebackers. I mean, you just throwing them in there, and
Right.
they like, whoa, wait a minute, okay, get them time to get used to everything.
Right.
Rome wasn't built in a day,
Right. Facts.
so that's what else was it? Oh, you and Zim, man, I watch y'all. I go to sleep to y'all because y'all are comedy. Zim is stupid. Zim is stupid. That's my dog, man. If I ever see him down here, I miss him when he came here.
Right.
Probably at work.
Right.
But y'all are stupid. And y'all got to have Steven, that little dude. If I find out where he live at, oh man, I might have to give him a high five or something.
He
Because
in the chat right
he,
now. He in the chat right
man,
now.
Steven, you a character as well. You is a character. And hey, I'm gonna get you a girl so you can get that kiss from her, all that good stuff, and who day all day, especially on Sunday.
Appreciate you, Brandon. So that's gonna bring us next to my guy, mid-tier guy. He's been waiting patiently here, so we're gonna go ahead and bring him in. Mid-tier, what's going on, bro?
What's up, Ace? How you doing?
Chilling, bro. I'm good.
Oh, man, it's good to see you, man. I'm a huge fan. I've been watching you for some months now. I just found you out when I was on YouTube, just searching for bingo stuff, and I'm glad I just found you. And I'm saying, keep up the great work, man. I'm a huge supporter.
Nah, I appreciate it, man. I'm glad you were able to find us. Was there anything you wanted me to answer for you?
Yes, sir. I just wanted to talk about the draft. I want to talk about just the Jamar pick,
Right.
because yes, I do think. Honestly, I feel like he just another. I hope I can come back to this and like prove me wrong, but I honestly feel like he's just another John Ross to me. He can beat the man. He can good on post routes. Good on slants, stuff like that. I don't want him just another. I don't want him to be just another Madden player.
Right.
I want him to. I want him to be good, and
Right.
I really hope that. Now,
Mhm.
I really want to talk to the early guy, but I saw my boy Flamar Raps. He said that he had a lot of ups and downs. So like, okay, maybe Jamar Chase is the right way to go.
Right.
And I'm not gonna lie to you, even though our past season was horrible, Joe Burrow was actually on fire. This man was like throwing 300 yards a game.
Yes, sir.
If I'm correct.
Yeah, he was
Like
balling. He was balling out.
when I saw that injury, I mean, I think was it like past middle of the season, if I'm correct, when he got injured?
Yeah, it was. We were heading into the second half of the season. It was like, I think it was week 10 or something like that. Like it was the last stretch just for us to really kind of see how things were going to end up those last couple of games.
Understandable. I was really hurt. I was in a deep depression. I
I
really
think we
did.
all were. I think it sucked the life out of everybody. I mean,
I
when Joe
was,
Burrow went down, you went from this high to just the bottom of the barrel, and we didn't come back up until the Steelers game. For me, like it wasn't until that Steelers game that I really got back into it. But to,
right,
to
right.
hit on your first thing, I'll say with Jamar Chase and John Ross, they're completely different. And
I
the
hope
reason
so.
I'll say that is John Ross coming out of Washington already had a reputation for multiple injuries. That was one of the reasons that I didn't want to take John Ross was because he had two knee injuries in college. He had 1 year full of production, and then obviously he was a lot smaller than Jamar Chase. I can rest assured and tell you that the difference between Jamar Chase and John Ross is Jamar Chase deserved to be picked where he was drafted at. John Ross did not. Like the only reason you could really sell people on John Ross being picked in the top 10 was simply because of the 4.22 speed. But due to the injury history, the inconsistent production, That was something like, and he wasn't really like, he definitely was more than a burner, but he wasn't as complete as a receiver as Jamar Chase is. And so I think we have a better chance on hitting on Jamar Chase than John Ross. So I can confidently say that Jamar Chase will be better than John Ross. And that's kind of a low ceiling because John Ross didn't do much for us. But I can say that he will definitely be better than John Ross.
Yes, sir. But before I go, I actually want to talk about the coaching situation.
Right.
I think Zach Taylor is a great guy. Good personality. I believe I think he said some wrong stuff in some interviews sometimes, but our coaching situation, I feel like, let's say if the Bengals had a Bill Belichick at this point in time, with our draft that we just had, I'm thinking Super Bowl for the season. But I feel like we need a better an elite coach to put us, because it all starts from the management and the coaching and the players.
Right.
But I really hope that Zach Taylor can prove me wrong. I hope I can look back and it can prove me wrong. But I'm not really confident in Zach Taylor. Especially after that Joe Burrow interview, he got hurt. He was just giving out bad vibes. But that's my take on that.
No, I think so like with the coaching staff, you definitely hit on some things there. I think that the one thing that I like about Zach is that he learns from his mistakes. So Joe Burrow goes out and gets hurt. They're out there getting rid of Jim Turner. Jim Turner is gone. Even though Jim Turner is his boy, he still realized, all right, we got to get rid of him. Even though Lou was his boy, I think I remember this first year, he was going after Lou and his players and making sure that they were going to get better. And I think that what they're trying to do and what they're trying to build is they're just trying to get their guys and their system in. And I think that this is going to be the last season that we're going to be able to see whether it works or not. If it doesn't work, then they're probably out of there. The only thing about elite coaching is if you want an Andy Reid or something like that, you got to pay so much money for him. Like you even looking at Urban Meyer, right? Like just look at how much the Jaguars had to pay Urban Meyer, and he's considered an elite coach. So I think in Cincinnati, it's just hard for that to work here because you kind of have to hit on one of these guys like a Zach Taylor while they're young and hope that they do turn into one of these young, great coaches down the line. And I think that that's the gamble that they were taking. And, one thing I will say about Zach, bro, is he always makes adjustments. Like even with the offensive line last year, they weren't great by any means, but they started cleaning up a lot of that stuff. So I'm gonna give Zach one more year. That's all I can give him. That's it. That's all. That's the only rope that I can give him to bring this together. But the other thing that I like that he did was he did bring in LSU plays and stuff like that, and that's what a smart coach does. So I'm gonna give him one more year, but I understand like when you're going against an Andy Reid or some of these elite coaches, it can be tough and difficult. But I think that he is a guy that also is learning through his first 2 years, and I think he learned a lot from his last year, and we'll just have to see what he does the next year in terms of what he learned. But Mitch here, God, I appreciate you for coming through. I'm going to swing to some of these other guests, but who they, brother?
Who they, man? Good day.
Sir. All right. The man, the myth, the legend. Steven, what's up, bro?
Yo, what's up?
Chilling, bro. You the celebrity now. This is the Steven show.
Real quick, before we start here, I have my Insta right there. If you want to come chat Bengals with me, you can go DM me. I have my Insta right there. Brandon, if you're watching, go hit me up. We can talk some Bengals. So, all right. Well, I just want to say that real quick before we get started. So,
yes, sir. So make sure you guys go and follow him, Steven LE2234 on Instagram. He's on IG. Definitely hit him up. What's going on, Steven? What are we talking about?
I was just wondering about how do you think Zach Taylor's going to be doing this year? I'm just interested in that. I'm rooting for him, but I'm not rooting for him because I want Eric Vienne anymore. But at the same time, I really, really feel like I just don't feel like he's there yet. I don't feel like he's just going to be there. He's going to develop fast enough in time for us to, squeeze into that window that we have with Joe Burrow's rookie contract.
Well, I think what it comes down to, man, is just listen to what Joe Burrow is saying. Joe Burrow loves Zach. It seems like they have a good relationship, and that's always an important one, the QB and the coach. And that's one of the reasons that I'm kind of giving Zach a chance. Now, you guys know at one point I was just like the Joe Burrow injury, everything that happened, I was mad. But he did win that Steelers game. Like that was we haven't seen us beat the Steelers in probably like 5 years. And for him to do that, I think that gave him some hope that showed that this team never quit on him. Because, when I was over there talking to AFC North Talk, they were like, the Bengals aren't quitting on this guy. They are in all of these different games. They could have been given up and stuff like that. But I think with Zach, he's just learning, bro. He's learning, and he's had a lot of bad luck with injuries. I mean, you look at the first year, Jonah Williams and AJ Green get hurt. This year, Joe Burrow gets hurt. The offense is clicking, but we're having ups and downs. Situational football, we're being outcoached on. But I think he deserves at least one last year. That's all I'm going to give him. I'll give him 1 year. If this year they're on fire and Joey B comes back and the offense is doing their thing, you gotta roll with him. Because
so
if he go ahead.
I'll let you say what you're gonna say.
No, I was gonna say because if he gets this thing rolling, they get 7 to 8 to 9 wins, and this is year 3 with him getting his. The other thing too is COVID last year. Like, I hate to say it, I'm not trying to make it an excuse, but like literally all of those guys couldn't even play together, and so I really just want to see full off season.
Had to organize a practice with everybody like by himself and stuff. I don't know if you saw that, but he had to do it by himself, so that's crazy.
Right, facts. But yeah, I'm still waiting. I'm on a wait and see kind of approach for Zach Taylor just to see what they do with this, because I love what they did in the draft. I love what they did in free agency. Let's see what they do putting this offense together.
So here's some things I'm looking for from the coaching this year. From Zach Taylor, I'm looking for more adjustments. All right, I'm looking more for him to become more of a, not just more of a coach, but more of like, more of a leader. I feel like he's been letting the guys do the leading and Lou Anarumo do the leading, and that's not a very good thing at all. Lou Anarumo is a terrible leader. So I feel like he needs to step up to the challenge, step up to the plate, have like a Mike Tomlin type of personality where he leads. I don't think, we're not in like the follow you into hell type of thing. We're in the like, we'll take a walk with you in the park. We're not really like, I feel like he has this, the players, I feel like they play for Joe Burrow. They don't play for Zach Taylor right now, I mean, for Joe Burrow's, talking about Zach Taylor, but I don't hear anybody else talking about Zach Taylor like that.
Well, Mike Daniels did. Mike Daniels said something about him.
I mean, I feel like I don't want to hate on him too much because, I feel like there's, of course, we all heard a lot of bad things came from the coaching this year. A lot of bad things came from the coaching this year from like, locker room stuff. And I feel like that's more Lou Anarumo.
Right.
That's not wait and see for me. That's get the heck out of here right now. That's not wait and see. Lou Anarumo is not wait and see for me. I don't like him. I don't know how you can put a DB coach as your defensive coordinator. I'd rather have Marvin Lewis as my defensive coordinator, to be honest. So I just don't like, or Wade Phillips, but I just don't, I just feel like the coaches need to step up to the plate and, just like, be coaches. So
right.
Like the coach, like with the most, like probably the coach with the most, what do I call it? Skins on the wall, I guess you could say right now is probably Frank Pollock. Like,
right.
I'd probably have to say Frank Pollock. Like, everybody else is pretty young and experienced or trash. So, I think you'd have to. I think I can't have my O-line coach be the most experienced and the best coach on the team right now. Like, that's just not a good thing at all. If we want to build championship teams, we have to have proven, experienced coaches. And Zach Taylor, it is his going into his 3rd year. So I trust Zach Taylor enough, to win us a playoff game. As I said yesterday, I just don't trust him enough to like make us to the Super Bowl, and that's the ultimate goal. I don't come here to go to the AFC Championship. I come here to go to the Super Bowl. That'd be great, but I don't want 2nd place. I want 1st place.
I get you, Steven, but we got to get to the playoffs first, bro. We got to crawl before we walk. I want a Super Bowl too. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
but
I
we just
understand, like,
picked back to back in the top 5 2 years in a row. So I know we want to get to the Super Bowl, but I think this year is a measuring stick to see how good we are, and I think the next year is when we make our Super Bowl run, our playoff run, to try to get deep into the playoffs and do our thing. And so it's hard for me to just be like, I want a Super Bowl just like everyone else. But when I step back and I look at it, and I feel like if you look at any team, when they get a new coach and they bring in their system and their guy and all of this, like they're not immediately going to the Super Bowl. Like usually it takes some time. Like even with the Dolphins, right? They brought in their coach. They took some strides. You know, they went to the playoffs last year. And now this is the year that they're probably going to try to get to a Super Bowl or load up and do that. And even when the perfect example really is the Cardinals, because the Cardinals revamped everything. They got a young quarterback in Kyler Murray. They revamped a lot of their coaching staff. They struggled the first year. I think they were 6-10 or something like that. And then the next year they took the next step. And now they're ready to try to load up for a Super Bowl. They went out and took A.J. Green from us, J.J. Watt, all of these guys to load up to try to make that run. And I think that's the path for us is, all right, we get Joe Burrow's first 2 years. We see where we go from there. We have to improve from year to year. I get what you're saying. We can't go out and end up picking top 5 in the draft again this year. And then I think after that, for me, that's when I'm like, all right, we can make the playoffs. Maybe. I'm not expecting it. Maybe we sneak in this year, right? But if they just get a playoff win, let's just be real. If they get a playoff win, people around here are going to be happy because I'm tired of seeing people talking about Vanilla Ice was the number 1 hit the last time the Bengals won a playoff game. And I think it gets in our head all the time just as a team because it's like, okay, now we're going to finally do it. And once we get over that hump, I think the next thing would be going to a Super Bowl or going to a conference championship and hoisting a Lombardi. I think once we get past that and get that monkey off of our back, then I think we'll be good.
And, you know, I'm fine with being average for this next year. I'm not expecting greatness, but I'm just expecting, you know, starting to see qualities of a good coach. We're not even talking about great coach, just a good coach. He's an okay coach right now. I'm looking for a good coach. And then after that, a great coach. I'm talking to some, I get it's baby steps, but like it's your second year, 2 top 5 picks. So you're going to have to stop taking some man steps now. So
that's it.
Like, and, you know, Lunarumu, I'm not really expecting any steps from him. I'm just expecting him to work at McDonald's next year. I'm not trying to have him coach for our team. So let's just I'm hoping for Zach Taylor to succeed. I hate Lunarumu. I hope we get somebody else that's more proven. I mean, and if Lunarumu comes out and proves me entirely wrong, then I'm totally fine with that. You know, I'm totally fine with that. Keep him all day. Maybe it's just they were really trying to get those Marvin guys out of here and build their own thing. And, you know, I understand that. Maybe just didn't handle it the right way. But if they take, like, the thing is, I was expecting a lot more from our defense. I was expecting at least an average defense next year. Because late 2019, we saw some steps, you know. Like, our defense started to get pretty good, you know. That last Browns game, we started to turn up the burners and just, like, send everybody at them. And, you know, I wasn't hoping to see, not, like, anything crazy like top defense in the NFL, but I was expecting to have at least a good defense because we got good pieces. You know, we got a lot of good pieces. We had good pieces. Jesse Bates took the next step, but you know, I just feel like I'm really hoping to see some improvement, and I'm hoping to see Lua remove the heck out of here.
Nah, that's fact, Steven. Well, I got to get to some of these other guys that have been patiently waiting, but appreciate you, bro. And who they? I'm gonna go eat some canes. Yes, sir. All right, we're gonna bring in my man Clee. What's going on, Clee? You there, Clee? All right, Clee is on mute, so we're gonna go to my man Bashir. He's been waiting patiently. Bashir, what's going on, bro?
What's up, man? How's it going?
Chilling, man. I appreciate you waiting patiently to jump on. How did you become a Bengals fan?
So it was actually a funny story. So 2015 season, like a little late. I got into sports kind of late. That's when we went 8-0, I think 2015. And I got into fantasy football, and I was like, we were 8-0, and the Panthers were 8-0. And I was like, all right, I'm a Bengals fan. From there on, downhill spiral, but it's all good.
Oh, man, you jumped on a great season and then got that disappointment for sure. What you got for me tonight, bro?
At first I got kind of random question prior to the Bengals stuff. I'm always curious. What do you I don't know if you want to answer or not. What do you do for like a living?
I actually work. It's funny because on Twitter it seems like I'm always
I
against
know you got
analytics.
max free time.
Nah, not even,
I'm playing.
not even. I work in tech, so it's easier for me to maneuver around a little bit. But I actually work as a business intelligence report developer, which is basically analytics. Like I put numbers together for people to make like key business decisions and stuff like that. And that's why I'm always. It seems like I'm against analytics, and it's not that. It's just because I work with data all day and every day, and like I can make a report, but if the data is crap and it's not good, the data is going to be wrong. And so like when you don't know how people are collecting it, like let's just say for instance, TJ Husmanzada didn't go to the combine, right? Yeah. So like when you're looking at a data set of what athletic scores are, and you don't have anything for TJ Husmanzada, that's not valid. That's not the real, like if you're missing data from different stuff, like you can't just go off of that. And then it's also the way that you look at it. Like I might be looking at something at work for like the last 5 years, and it might say, our sales are up. But if I look at the last 10 years, it might say over the last 10 years, our sales are actually down overall. So there's a lot of different things when it comes to that. But that's what I do as far as my day job is. I do that. And then I also try to schedule and work around and post videos at like certain times, go live when I can't go live. Yeah. Obviously with COVID, I've had a little bit more flexibility with doing stuff like that. But it's still tough, bro. I get burnt out a lot. Like between my job and everything. YouTube, yeah, it's tough. It's tough for sure.
So I just had a couple questions on what you think. So for the O-line, like I'm a little confused on mainly like the existing guards we had. Like I'm under the impression now all of a sudden that like Su'a-Filo, like we're just assuming he's gonna start at one guard spot. But like in my opinion, like from what I saw last year, like I said, not like analytics wise, but like I liked when Spain was a starter. Like I felt like as far as physicality goes, like I don't see why he couldn't be a starter this year. And then I'm assuming if Trey Hopkins, I guess they're saying, like I saw you guys saying he might be healthy, but if not, I guess does Billy Price start at center? Or that all depend on what happens in camp?
Yeah, I think you hit on something that's really good there. And I think I was just looking at it through putting updating like my Madden roster and stuff like that, just looking at it. I think there's a good chance Quentin Spain could start because when you really look at it, Jackson Carman probably should really be playing left guard. They talked to him about playing left guard potentially too. So it was left guard, or right tackle. So I think it really probably makes more sense for them to play Jackson Carman at left guard and start Spain at right guard. They might like Xavier Su'a-Filo, and that's cool. But a lot of people don't know the history on it. And Quentin Spain beat Xavier Su'a-Filo out, I believe, in Tennessee. And he was actually cut because of Quentin Spain. So they've kind of rambled and went at it before. So I think one of those two guys could be there. Now, there's still also free agents that are out there too. So they might reach out to a Trey Turner. They might wait and see once the smoke clears on who's going to get cut elsewhere. So there's a bunch of different places that they can go. And I think you're right, too. Like if Trey Hopkins is there, I definitely think Billy Price is your starting center. And I think this moves Billy Price straight back to center. I think a lot of the picks that they made allowed that to happen. But I don't think it's over for Quentin Spain yet. Yes, he did sign a league minimum kind of contract, but I mean, that doesn't matter. We saw Trey Hopkins take Billy Price's starting role when he was basically making minimum.
I think he tweeted when he signed, like he bets on himself or something like that.
Yeah, he did say that. He was like, I can't believe y'all just tried me with this money, but I'll take it. And you got to think about it. Before that, the money that he was making in Buffalo, I think was more than what Xavier Su'a-Filo is making now for the Bengals. So he was a guy that was handsomely paid. And I do think he does have a chance to definitely start at guard for sure.
And one more thing, last year during the season, I think it was like you and Zim were talking, and it was I forgot after what game, but Zim was like, the Browns will always be the Browns and all this stuff, and you were talking about Quincy, and I was like kind of with him at the time, but this year, like, because I used to watch what you and Quincy talk about last year, and I'd be like, he's just enjoying a little success right now, but when I saw their draft, I was like, oh my lord, like,
bro.
Like seeing
their free agency.
That's like they were saying that's our guy. They got JOK. They got stacked.
The Browns are stacked right now, bro. Like, and a lot of people didn't pay attention to what they did in free agency. They got a top 5 safety too. Like, and with me doing those shows with them, I know where their weak spots are at. So like, corner was a weak spot for them because they had so many injuries, and they never know. Like, if Greedy Williams is hurt for them, they never know what somebody can do there. I mean, in safety, they got hit real bad last year, so they filled those two needs. Their linebackers were trash. Now they have JOK. They added, I think Malik, the guy on the D line. They added to that. They got another guy, 2 other guys, because a lot of people forget that they also got Takaris McKinley and Clowney over there across from Myles Garrett. They're gonna be tough, bro. They're gonna be tough. Yeah. But we're just gonna have to take it on. I think that they're the favorites for the division. I think John Sharon said that last night. I agree with them. And one thing that I was trying to say is, man, we might not have to focus on the Steelers anymore. We might have to focus on beating the Browns.
I was thinking personally, like when I look at it, I'm like, the Browns got to be a playoff team. Mm-hmm. Ravens, you know how it goes. Like
Ravens will make the
playoffs.
Right.
I'm not like, if we were somehow to make the playoffs, it'd have to be the Steelers that get the boot.
Right. Yeah. Facts. I mean, I think the Steelers are on the way down because Big Ben, if he has that meltdown again and starts throwing picks, I think that's their weakness. For the Browns, since they have so much talent, the key thing for us is going to be when they have to pay Baker Mayfield. And I always get Quincy to hesitate on that because he's a Baker guy. Yeah. But when I'm always like, all right, you're going to pay Baker Mayfield $50 million a year?
They said they didn't want to do that. They said they don't want to pay him yet. They didn't start even talking about it.
Oh, they're going to have to. And I hope he balls out. I hope he balls out and they $40
million.
Like, yeah, $40 million a year to Baker Mayfield. Sign him up for it because I want all of that to happen.
I'm just too hype. I'm ready to see Joey go.
Yes, sir. All right, Bashir, I appreciate you, my guy. I'm gonna get to some of these other guys. Appreciate you for stopping by, bro.
All right, man. I'll see you.
Yes, sir. All right, I'm gonna bring in my man Terrell. What's good, bro?
So you
got the Cardi frames on. So you must be feeling good.
Man. That's because last week, man, I was just chilling, man. This me every day, man. I'm always fly, man.
Yes, sir.
But man, I gotta say, man, that draft, a lot of my cousins and my friends, they was a little like, I don't know, but I really did like that draft though. Mm-hmm. I really did like that draft, and they a lot of people iffy on the second round pick, but I feel like we needed them picks, man. We needed them picks.
Facts.
But I gotta say, my the thing about the line, I think they fixed it.
Right.
I ain't even gonna lie though. I think they fixed it though. I'll tell you, my starting 5 though. You ain't, some people, it might ruffle some people's feathers, but I got a starting 5 though for you though, man. I ain't even gonna lie. I ain't even gonna lie. I need Jonah Williams to go to guard.
Okay.
So I got him at guard. I got Deshaun Smith and Adenji fighting for the left or the right.
So you talking about the rookie dudes that we just picked? You talking about Deontay Smith
and Adenji? Okay. They fighting for the tackle.
Okay.
Reef automatic on either side of the tackle.
Okay.
I got Jackson at guard.
Okay.
I got Hill or Hopkins at center. I'm thinking Bodan gone.
You talking about Billy Price? You talking about
Billy Price? I'm so sorry, bro.
Nah, you good?
Because I was thinking about I was joking with my boy earlier, and I said I think Bodan better than Billy Price.
Honestly, I had to, because I hated Bodan too for a while. But Billy Price, and I think I was telling Zim that, I was like, you couldn't have told me, like, when we took Billy Price, that he could potentially be worse than Bodan was his first couple of years. But I still think Billy has another year to turn it around. But I think we just all, when the pick happened, we were just like, oh, he won't be as worse as Bodan. There's no way that he could beat Bodan.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, because I'm thinking if dudes show out, Trey Hill show out in camp, man, it might be over.
Right.
And like I said, Jackson and Jonah, the two guards, and Adenji and Smith fighting for one of the tackles, and Reef automatic on the other tackle. And I think and then you got a Sulafilo and Spain as your backups. Man, that's pretty solid, man.
Right.
And Michael Jordan, I'm putting him down the totem pole. Even if he clear waivers as a practice squad guy, so be it. So be
No,
it. Am I still of the draft, man? He looked like Von Miller. Joseph Odayi.
Yeah,
The third one pick.
Yeah.
Besides, man, he looked more aggressive than Pratt. He is what a King Gaither supposed to be doing.
Right. Nah, I'm with you.
And then it's like he get off the ball as a DN better than Hubbard.
Yeah.
It's I think that's a steal right there, man.
Nah, I feel you. I'm with you.
Other than that, man, I think Chris Evans probably gonna be like a wide receiver, Percy Harvin type, running back receiver type thing. That'd be pretty nice.
Yeah.
And Pookie and Patrick and Travion gonna fight for that last running back spot.
Nah, that's real. Those are some great takes, Terrell, for sure, bro. I'm with that.
I just wanted to say, and real quick, I know Steven was talking about coaches and stuff. Darren Simmons just give me that Lane Kiffin, Dabo Sweeney vibe. If he don't make it as a coach or close to a coach, I think he'd be a great college coach. I really do. I really do.
Nah, that's real. I'm with you on that. A lot of people want him to actually get a shot to be the head coach in Cincinnati, if they ever do, or just a head coach in general, because Bill Belichick started as a special teams coach, and you have to be knowledgeable about the offensive side and defensive side when you coach special teams. So appreciate that, Terrell. Was there anything you wanted to say before you go, bro?
It was just real quick. Worst kind of worst. I ain't even gonna lie to you, man. I want Fickle. We the new Cincinnati. We the new Clemson, man. You see them picks in the draft?
Yes,
you see them picks in the draft? If he be the top 5, and if Riddick, the quarterback Desmond Riddick, if he could be a 3rd round, 4th round pick, man, bro, it's over.
Right.
But I think just goes on with that, man. Appreciate it, bro.
All right, bro. Take care. Who that?
Too.
All right, I'm gonna bring on my man Curtis. Curtis, what's going on, bro?
What up, Ace?
What's up, Curtis? What you going? What you got going?
Oh, I'm feeling good, bro. Just hanging out and enjoying the last of the weekend, man.
Facts. Same here. Where you from?
Just north of Columbus, Ohio.
Okay, that's what's up.
Central.
How'd you become a Bengals fan?
My dad. He was a Bengals fan when he was more of a Paul Brown fan. So when he created the Bengals, he was naturally a fan of the Bengals, and then of course he draped me out in the gear, you know, when I was in the crib, you know. So naturally, just like childhood, you know.
Yeah,
so,
I already know. Yes, sir. What you got for me?
Just a couple things like that draft was that was a roller coaster. I was all for Jamar Chase, bro. Like that's the one I wanted, but I knew, just like Zim said, we had to have the offensive line for that 2nd round pick. Right. And when they traded back, I was like, it was just straight drop. Bro. I didn't know what to do. I was so upset, but I think it turned out for the best. So I just hope that dude works out for us. Right. And one thing, what was his name? Steven. He was talking about Zach Taylor. I agree with a lot of things he said. One thing I do appreciate about Zach Taylor is he'll play the rookies even after they make a mistake. He doesn't keep them on the bench. So, and he actually does a lot of change-ups going into the second half and stuff. So I do appreciate about that. We'll see. Like you said, bro, this is really his final year, really proving that he can do what he was hired to do. So, but it does seem like a lot of the team loves Zach Taylor, and as long as Joe Burrow loves him, the rest of the team will follow Joe. So, I mean, that's all that really matters, you know?
Nah, I'm with you, bro. I think you're right. Like as long as he's got Joe Burrow and he's got the team behind him, I think that we got to give him another year. We got to see him with his players, his guys, and everything. I mean, first year he didn't have Burrow. He was with Andy Dalton. Still had a lot of Marvin Lewis guys. Second year, he finally is able to get his quarterback, but he still got some other guys that they committed to before then. Third year, he's finally getting his guys and his system and his look in there. So I think we got to give him that fair shot, bro.
Yeah, and I think with the offensive line, I think that was dramatically improved when they brought Frank back. Right. So just adding the pieces they've added I think is going to be a huge change. That whole year, they were constantly plug and play different players in different spots and never had consistency. So it's to be expected. And just like the defensive line, I feel it for Lou because of how bad we got decimated at defensive line last year, to the point that we are just picking up people like Bledsoe and just just anyone that would do off the street. So
yeah, bro. Nothing against those guys. Nothing against those guys, because I'm glad that they're living their dream.
Yes, sir.
They're probably watching it all. But yeah, bro, last year I was just like, nah, man, we gotta get some guys in there that can go against these Ravens and these Steelers and these Browns and stuff like that, man. No offense to those guys. I hope they still make the team. And if they're worth the spot, I'm sure that they'll make the team. But yeah, we had to get some competition in there, man. We couldn't just be signing guys off of the street and just throwing them in there immediately like, hey, this guy's going to actually stop Lamar Jackson, because that was just not realistic at all.
No, bro, no. We need big bodies and dogs, like the dog mentality to actually get after that quarterback. So I'm pretty excited for this year. I know you are.
Definitely.
And definitely want to say, Ace, appreciate the work that you put into this stuff. I think I've been following you since 2018. We actually talked on the phone once way back then when you did phone calls.
I did the phone calls,
yeah.
lit.
So I've been following you for a minute. And when it comes to the draft or any news, especially during the off season when there's nobody reporting except you and Zim, John, and Anthony. So appreciate the heck out of what you guys do. So thank you.
Thanks, Kurt. That means a lot, bro. Appreciate it, brother.
Yes, Who Dey?
All right, I'm gonna bring in my man Bengals for life. What's going on, bro?
Hey, what's going on, Ace? Man,
chilling, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I like that one boy said, man. I love your show, man. It's awesome. Love it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm a big Bengals fan. I'm from Kansas, Wichita, Kansas. Like he said, his dad's always been a Bengals fan. I grew up in Bengals clothes, man. So
love it, bro.
Yeah,
I love seeing Who Dey Nation all over the place for sure.
Yeah, I love this thing. I live in South Dakota now, so everybody, they're like, you don't like the Vikings? Like, hell no.
No, it's Who Dey for life.
Yeah,
bro.
I'm Who Dey for life. So yeah. No, I just got my big question is, man, having Burrow have that injury and all that. Hopefully, God willing, he comes back. Resilient, because, something like that, Carson Palmer, when he shredded his knee like that, it's like he lost a step, he lost that, that dog in him, and was, kind of scared, and I've never had an injury like that, so naturally you're going to be, worrying about that, but with the NFL and the speed of the game, you don't have time to worry about that, So that's kind of, and then getting rid of Bernard, I thought that was a really bad move, because his pass blocking is unreal, for his size.
He was definitely our best pass blocking running back for sure.
Yeah. So when they got rid of him, I was just like, oh no, like who are they going to bring in to step into those shoes, because he was unreal. I mean, I'm a big fan of Giovanni Bernard. So
yeah, same here. I think one thing that you said that you hit on was really important was I think the expectations are so high right now for Joe Burrow, and I don't think it's realistic to think that he's just going to continue. I'm not saying he's not capable of it, but I think for the first game at least, let's just let him get comfortable with
exactly
going out there and doing it.
I wasn't, to be honest with you, and I said this before even the start, he had no business being out there last year with the O-line we have. No business. They should have sat him the first year and let him get familiar with everything and let somebody else be fed to the wolves.
No, that's real. A lot of people said we should have kept Andy.
Yeah, kept Andy for one more year. Yep.
And let Burrow just sit and learn everything. But yeah, man, it's going to be a tough injury to bounce back. You also said something else key there. You said that Carson Palmer wasn't the same when he came back.
No,
I agree with you on that. Like,
nope.
After 2005, when Carson came back, he went from like a top 3 quarterback to probably top 10.
Yeah, in between 10 and 15.
After 2008 with the elbow, it was like top 15.
Yep.
So yeah, you hit on something. The only thing that we can hope for is let's just pray that surgeries and technology and medicine has improved much more.
Yeah, drastically.
2005.
Well, look at Andrew Whitworth. He shreds his knee and he's back playing.
Right, so, playing the same season.
Same season. Yeah. And then another thing that pissed me off too about that whole game, he got hurt. Why aren't we running when we're that close to the end zone? That's just, that's another, rookie coach error, from Zach Taylor. He should have noticed that, we need to run the ball in this play, because this ain't good, because Burrow ain't going to go drop back 5-7 feet in his own end zone. You don't do that.
And a lot of people forgot too, like the game before that he was hurt. Remember, he got hit and he was like limping. A lot of people forgot about that.
It's a wonder he took 73 hits that last season. Yeah. He took some big hits that me and you would have never got up from.
Yeah, no way.
I thought
even in that Eagles game.
Oh yeah, the Eagles game.
And people were like, "Oh, well, he didn't get sacked," and I'm like, "That doesn't mean he's not taking
that
hits.
Don't mean nothing.
That doesn't mean he's not taking hits."
No, that people don't understand that. Once that can throw a lot of things off when you're getting hit that much.
Right.
Progression. Right. It's just hopefully this year that Jackson Carman guy, he's a beast, right. But like you guys said, the medical thing kind of worries me, right. So we could have been a little bit more aggressive in free agency. There were people out there, and I know we tried to get Tooney and, that's right. It's just the way it is. But yeah, I just hope they don't waste Burrow's career, messing around.
Yeah, for sure. So, I think we all want to make sure, like you said, that they just take care of Burrow. And if it isn't done, that's pretty much a death wish. If you don't protect Burrow, he gets hurt again or something, then you're pretty much out of there.
Yeah, just like with taking Chase from the draft. I mean, we got an elite athlete, but I mean, we have receivers. If you get time, we could have nobodies out there for receivers and still make big plays. As long as they can catch the ball, I mean, we're good. So, so I don't know. I'm pretty optimistic for this season. I just hope Burrow, comes back like old Joey B. And hopefully Jamar Chase,
I think he can definitely get there for sure. I think if there's anyone that can do it, Joey B with his mindset, the way that he's gonna kill rehab and coming back, the knee might come back. He might come back stronger, faster. You never know. But like you said, he's just got to get that comfort. Like once he gets that first hit a couple of times or gets hit a couple of times and realizes that he can trust the knee, I think he should be good.
Yeah, because there ain't going to be no running for him anymore, like we saw in the Chargers game. I don't think that's going to be going down anymore.
Yeah, they got to keep him safe. Keep him safe.
Yeah. Well, hey, thanks, Ace, for having me on. And like I said, I'm a big supporter of what you're doing. You're the only person I watch for Bengal stuff. So
appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, keep up the good work, man. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, brother. Who dat? All right, we're gonna bring in my guy Elijah. Oh, sorry. Hold on one second, Rory. He just left at the same time. Hey, what's up, Elijah?
Hello.
How you doing, man?
Good.
Where you from?
Florida.
Florida? What part of Florida?
Lower part.
Hey, South Florida. Okay. I'm up in Orlando.
1 second.
Okay. We got Elijah, man. Who they representing? Who they nation? The youngins are representing. Go ahead, Elijah.
I'm back.
Yep. You're on mute. Oh, I think he had to go. I think it was bedtime. Oh. We're gonna bring in my guy Rory. What's up, Rory?
Yo, what's going on, man? Heck of a draft, man.
Definitely a heck of a draft for sure.
Oh my God, dude, it was an emotional roller coaster for me, because I was a Team Sewell guy, still, because I was like, for life. But happy with Jamar Chase. Good pick. One thing for the draft, I just don't know if I absolutely love the value of the lineman. I think Jackson Carman's going to be all right, but I just if he's our only legit starter next year, that's going to be competing. I just don't know if I love it. You know what I'm saying? And especially whenever there's premium players on the board at 38, Creed Humphrey, Ben Cleveland, Jenkins, all that stuff. Granted, I do love the trade down and getting Shelvin and Smith. He's a project guy, but it felt like settling for me, I guess. Especially since I was a Sewell guy, I was protection all the way, and it was just kind of it felt like settling. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that they were aggressive. I feel like they did a lot of research, bro. They dug into character. They dug into, can this guy play multiple positions? These were things that I heard they were asking, legit. Can he play left guard, right tackle? What is his character like? What is the health like? They were doing extensive research. So for them to not even, and I don't know if they didn't even consider Tevin Jenkins. I just didn't hear that name floated around. The only ones that I really heard were Eichenberg. Possibly they asked about him and had some interest in him, and Jackson Carman. And I think what was key for them going with Carman is they felt like he had the body type to play guard now and right tackle later. The other thing was from what I heard, they loved his film against Chase Young. They loved the fact that he had a great game on the highest level against Chase Young. They loved that. They also loved guys that come from championship winning teams and stuff like that. I think that that's part of the character kind of thing that they're bringing in. And I think some of those, it just was that Jackson Carman checked more of those boxes for them than Tevin Jenkins did. Like I said, Tevin Jenkins, great tackle. I'm not so sure how he would have fit in at guard for what they wanted to do with him and stuff like that, or if he fit the scheme. I'm not saying that he didn't. Obviously he was a great player, but I think when I was talking and Willie said that they were targeting Jackson Carman in the late second round, I knew that there had to be a trade coming. At first, I thought it was that they were going to take a defensive player or another offensive lineman and then try to move back up. And then it started to make sense. It's like, they're going to trade down. And for them to get the 2 4th-round picks, it was a great deal for me because I think you're only supposed to get 1 4th-round pick from where they moved up at, and they got 2 of them. And they were able to, like you said, grab those other 2 guys, and we'll just have to see how it plays out. But the other guy had 38-inch arms or something crazy like that.
Yeah, it's 36, yeah.
Yeah, 36.
So he can develop.
It was crazy, and they picked a guy similarly to that last year with Hakeem Adeniji, and he was supposed to be a project player, which he was, but he still was solid when they kind of threw him in there. And so I think they probably just felt that they weren't as high on Tevin Jenkins as some of the other people were. And I think you kind of saw that from the other teams too. There were other guys that were taken in front of him where we were just scratching our heads. And the only thing that I can think about, bro, is maybe his medical. And when we talk about his medical, obviously Carman had one too, but his was just a regular hernia kind of thing. That's the typical surgery that people get. But with Tevin having the hip thing, it could have been that they didn't want to touch him with the hip thing. And we saw them not touch guys like Trey Smith, but I don't feel like they settled, because when I was listening to all of the stuff they were doing in terms of research, it seemed like they were thoroughly vetting this guy just to make sure, asking Willie, are you sure that he can play right guard and right, making sure that he could play multiple positions was key for the guy that they wanted to take there. And I'm not so sure that if they called around on Tevin Jenkins, people were really selling them on his ability to play guard, because it was left guard, and right tackle. So I think that they just had their plan. They felt like they did enough research on all of the guys. And I think that they felt like, why not still be able to get our guy that we want and add 2 4th-round picks for us to get other guys later. So for me, it's hard to say, because in the draft,
it's
whoever you pick, you got to get more. You got to get more chances, and the more chances that you get, the more chances that you're able to do it. And I'm glad that they didn't do something like, I think there was one year where I think it was the Drew Sample year where they moved back and they got like nothing. They got like nothing. They got like 5th or a 6th round pick or something to move back like 10 spots. And, you know, all the guys that we wanted were there. Yeah. And with this one, it was smarter because they only moved back like what, 7 or 8 spaces, and they got two good picks for it. So I'm just glad that they didn't pull a Drew Sample and move back like 10, 12 spots and only get like a 5th round pick for it. So but yeah, I get it. I think people definitely felt like Tevin Jenkins was going to be the guy. I honestly thought Tevin Jenkins was going to come off of the board when Jacksonville was picking, but they didn't take him. And you know, some of the other guys didn't take him. I was kind of shocked. But the one thing that I noticed is nobody traded up for him either. Like there were some guys people were trading up to get like New England with us, right? They traded up and they wanted Barmore. They just wanted him because he was there. But some of the guys just stayed there, man. I don't know what it is. We'll have to figure out what the story is there, but there's character stuff. Like I'm not saying that he's a bad guy. I'm just saying like a part of their process, they were fine-tooth combing literally everything, talking to everybody that they could about these guys. And I think that they just felt comfortable with Carmen and just went with them and ended up getting the picks as well.
Yeah. I mean, that's what made the entire thing like swallowable for me, that there's the 2 extra picks, which I think Tyler Shelvin can, you know, once DJ Reader's done with his contract, just fill those shoes and take off. Right. I mean, I think that he's going to take over Josh Tupou's spot, and I think he's going to make the team, you know, and that's value. That's value.
Sorry, just not to cut you off, but somebody in the comments said it was the Patriots' way of saying sorry for spying on you. That's why they threw in that extra 4th.
We cool, right? We cool. No. I mean, yeah, dude. I mean, but I'm just so happy that they addressed the defensive line. Oh my god, dude. Like, and I love Osan. I love Sample. Like coming out, those are like my favorite mid-round picks, and like to get them at their positions, I was like, what is going on? Like that, because I was a glass case of emotion when we traded back and got Jackson, just because I wasn't expecting that. And that was a name that being floated, and I was having a conniption, dude. Like I was like, you said, yeah, no, I was like, because
it wasn't just you, because like it was a lot of Bengals fans, and even when I talked and checked in with my guys from AFC North Talk, they were even like, what are the Bengals doing? They could have just stole the draft by getting Tevin Jenkins. And I don't know, man. I think we'll see. If Tevin Jenkins goes off and becomes like an all-pro, they're probably going to regret it. But I remember one time they did something similar, not with well, I guess it was kind of with two linemen. It was the year that we took Kevin Zeitler, and there was another guy. He ended up going to the Steelers. Everybody thought that guy was like the first-ranked guard, and they were like, what are the Bengals doing? And we were in the same position where we could have taken him in the first at a certain spot, and I think we moved down 3 or 4 spots, and then the Steelers ended up taking him. He's still with the Steelers now. I don't know why whenever I tell this story, I always forget his name, because he had some dirty cheap shots on Vontaze Burfict as well. But we ended up picking Kevin Zeitler, and the whole time I was just like, man, what are we doing? Like, how are we gonna pass on this guy and take this guy Kevin Zeitler? And then Kevin Zeitler ended up being good. So
you talking about David DeCastro.
Yeah. Like David DeCastro still went to Pro Bowls and stuff like that, but Kevin Zeitler was still a hell of a player as well.
Yeah, and like I mean, we let him walk too. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's tough.
That's when it went downhill. Like just from the O-line, just like, oh my god. But I mean, yeah. Other than that, dude, I'm just glad we got a kicker now that we can like at least have some hope on, and not pull a fucking calf in the first game and stealing that first win away from Joey Burrow, dude. I'm like, what is going on? Like, of course this would happen to the Bengals, right? But yeah, I'm gonna let you get out of here, Ace, and have a good show.
All right, appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it, Roy. All
right, appreciate letting me vent.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
All right, we're gonna bring in my man Brandon. Brandon, what's going on, bro?
Oh, yo, what's up, Ace?
What's good, man? How you doing?
Good. I've shot you a few DMs, man. What is it? I have the Bengals recap Instagram page. But
Okay, cool.
yeah, what is it? I had a question for you. Oh, also I'm from New York, repping from New York.
That's what's up.
But my
Yeah.
question was, what's his last name? Evan, the running back that we drafted.
Right.
Is it Evan first name or is it
Chris Evans.
Chris
Yep.
Evans. Yeah. So what's all these rumors I'm hearing about him? About apparently he went live on Instagram like
Mhm.
after he was drafted, and he was saying like, I'm really not trying to go to Ohio while smoking like a blunt or something like that. Like,
Really?
yeah, that's what everyone's talking about. I'm like, bro, if that's true, he's gonna get torn probably like his first day in.
Nah, I haven't heard it. I have to do some research and see what's going on. But I can't imagine that you get drafted and you're like, I'm really not trying to go to Ohio. If that's
I know, literally.
yeah.
Especially when you're like a late round pick, you just gotta be like blessed and like
Right.
thank
Nah, that
everyone.
would be crazy. Like if that's actually, I gotta ask Zim because I know Zim would have. Has Zim posted that?
No, I'm in a Bengals group chat. There's like 30 of us, and like everyone was going off about it. Like everyone's
Bro,
like,
you
"Are
gotta
you
send me. So
serious?"
you sent it to me on IG?
I'll send it to you on IG after this.
All right, yeah, send it to me on IG. I gotta see that. I can't speak on it because I haven't seen anything. That would be wild though. Like I
It
don't
got
know.
me tight when I heard about it. I was like, "Are you serious?" Because like,
Do
he's a
we know
late
that
round
it's
pick.
him for sure? We know that for sure. It's his IG and everything.
It would be off his IG, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's wild, bro.
I know. I just had to see if you heard about it because like,
Nah, I did. I've been today. I've been actually like knee deep in trying to create the Bengals draft class in Madden. So I've been just like studying all of the stuff, like
yeah,
adjusting the players. So I haven't even been like looking at any of it. Honestly, I haven't even been able to look at any of the UDFAs that we've got except Puka, and I think someone said a tight end or something. I'm still waiting for
yeah,
like
we
the
did get the tight
finalized
end.
list and stuff like that. But I mean, if that is the case, Puka's there to take his spot. I mean, it's not. That's just kind of wild, though.
Because the last thing I want is like a 6th, 7th round pick to be a locker room menace and like just separate all of our guys and like create all of that like havoc or something like
Yeah,
that, you know?
that's crazy, bro. Yeah, you got me. Yeah, I'm gonna look into that.
Yeah, I'll shoot you
I'll look
definitely a
into it.
DM and let me know if you hear from Zim too, because if anyone, Zim's got to have heard about it. Like if
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's why I'm like, if Zim hasn't told me that, like, what? Okay.
Apparently, I'm not sure if it was live on his Instagram because, like, for instance, when we got what's his name, like Joseph Asai,
Right.
I know he went live, but it wasn't like technically live on his Instagram. Like he was
Right.
live with like one of his friends, so, like
Right.
through his other Instagram.
Right.
So I think it was a situation like that.
Gotcha. So he got caught on someone else's live with him
Yeah,
saying that.
like saying he was like, I'm really not trying to go to Ohio. But then he posted the video of him like crying like when he got drafted. So I'm
Right.
like, were those happy tears or were those like I'm not trying to go to Ohio tears? Like
I don't know, man. I
who
mean,
knows?
I'm not really well, I can't say that because my wife's from Michigan. I'm not really trying to go to Michigan or Indianapolis either. So
I
I
know.
don't know if he wants to start that one.
I'd rather be in Ohio. That's all I'm saying. They got
Right.
better food. They got
Facts.
food restaurants there.
Facts. What
But
you got going?
Huh?
What did you think of the draft though overall?
Oh, I love this draft. I'm not sure about Jackson though.
Yeah.
I'm not sure because we had what's his name there was a side
Kevin
there.
Jenkins.
Yeah, there was Tevin Jenkins we passed on. There was Cosme or
Yep, Cosme as well. Sam
and
Cosme.
then there was what's his name, the other guy starts with Reduns.
We're done
And
as well.
I was high on him, but apparently I saw there was a couple analysis and they're saying that he has like the potential to potentially like be the best guard out of like this draft. So I'm happy to
We'll
see
see.
how it plans out.
Nah, I am too. We'll have to see. Like, first thing it'll be like I don't know. To me, if Jackson Carman goes in there and we don't see anybody touch Burrow, I'm good. Like I don't even care if those other guys do anything. As long as Joey B isn't getting sacked, I'm good, bro.
Exactly. And Dante, I think he's gonna be a steal. I think he holds a lot of characteristics to be like in the future starting quality guy.
Facts. Nah, that's real.
But
That's
the
real.
one thing is when we drafted Evan McPherson, that shot me out of my seat. I was so happy.
I was super happy too. I was like, finally, bro, we finally got a kicker.
Everyone said we took him early, but I'm like, I don't know if we did.
Fifth round isn't really early for a kicker. Like most kickers get taken in the fifth round. So I don't know why people felt like it was early. Like if he's the best kicker, that's normally where people take the best kickers in the fifth round.
Exactly. And if you're taking a kicker at fifth round, then it's Evan McPherson because he's gonna be the GOAT of all kickers of all time.
Because somebody else probably would have known we needed a kicker. They probably would have jumped in front of us and been like, "Hey, we'll just take this guy before the Bengals." Then we end up with like the second guy instead. So, if I'm not mistaken, I think we took Jake Elliott in the fifth round. So, I mean, I think Evan McPherson is probably way better than Jake Elliott was coming out.
The way he kicks the ball and like the way that he gets it to like elevate and rise, like I'm not trying to sound like just say it because he's one of the best, but he reminds me a lot of Adam Vinatieri, the way that he kicks the ball. Like
somebody was saying that. Somebody else in the chat is just saying that now. That's another Vinatieri. And if he is that, that's probably really worth in the long term like a second round pick. So to get him in the fifth round, I'm good with it, bro.
And apparently the coaches said that he should be the day one kicker. So it's not looking like he's gonna have to beat out Cyber. So
get Cyber up out of there. Let's not make that same mistake again.
Exactly, but that's all I had to say because I was just like, I was wondering if you heard about any of that.
Nah, Brandon, send me that. I'll be on the lookout for your DM. Sometimes I just get lost in the sauce on Instagram. Sometimes, but shoot me one over, and I'll take a look at it.
I bet. Definitely.
I appreciate it, Brandon.
Thank you.
Who that? Yes, sir. All right, my man Elijah is back. You good?
Hello.
What's up, man?
Yeah. So I was watching the draft at my friend's house, and so he's a Dolphins fan, and they picked, I think the pick before him, Javonte Williams out of North Carolina, and the Broncos traded up for him, and that brought back when the Steelers traded up for Bush in front of us. That brought back flashbacks. I remember that.
Nah, I'm with you, bro. Yeah, a lot of people tried to move up in front of us to take certain players and stuff like that. Yeah. It definitely brought back some flashbacks for sure. But I still like what they did in this draft. I think they tried to take it by the horns and did their own thing. And I don't think any of us predicted what they do, but they still did their thing.
At 5, honestly, I'm happy with Chase.
Right.
But I wanted us to get Pitts because he can be a tight end and a wide receiver. But also I see why we took a receiver because I was looking at like some advanced stats, and it says that we're top 5 in the league in 3 wide receiver sets. We run a lot of 3 wide receiver sets. And Mike Thomas as your 3rd wide receiver is not who you want.
Right.
Because Auden Tate, he's not a route runner. He's he's on 4th and 10 with 30 seconds left in the game where you throw a Hail Mary up to him.
Right. No, that's real.
He's not a route runner. That's all he is a lob guy.
Yeah, I like Auden Tate. I agree with you that they probably wouldn't want him as the 3rd receiver because they kind of already have a guy with a similar skill set. And T. Higgins, 2 big guys.
Yeah.
But I think one thing that showed in this draft that they still like Auden Tate is the fact that they didn't draft any other receivers.
I think take Anthony Schwartz in the 1st. He went the 3rd to the Browns.
To the Browns.
But another thing that I think if the Chris Evans report that the previous guy was talking about is true, he went to Michigan. So the OSU-Michigan rivalry maybe had something to do with that.
Right. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, maybe it is something like that, but we'll see. I'm pretty sure like if that did happen, even if it did happen, once he gets to Ohio, the fans are going to go in on him. Yeah. The fans are going to go in on him majorly because that's just how we are.
Yeah. And also Yeah, I think why did we get rid of Bernard? He's a great blocker, and then he signed with the Bucks, who already have Rojo and they have Fournette. So I don't see the point of them making that signing.
Yeah, no, I think you hit the nail on the head there. I'm not sure. And do they still have LaShawn McCoy too? Like I don't
I'm
know.
pretty sure. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was. I think for us it was, and I think Zim told me this earlier. I think it was that they're just ready to give Joe Mixon the entire backfield. And I think when you had Giovanni Bernard, Gio was so good that you couldn't just let him sit on the bench and not give Joe Mixon like 25 carries a game. And I think that they're just pretty much trying to make sure that Joe Mixon earns that money. And to pay Gio starting money just to only come in and have like 5 snaps here or there, it just didn't make sense. The one thing I do hope, though, is that he does get a ring. Like if Gio goes to the to the Buccaneers, I hope he gets a ring.
Yeah, probably my one of my favorite Bengals moments in the past 5 years of us being pretty bad was Monday Night Football against the Steelers with their backup QB. That was one of the best moments
ever.
Like I've always been a Bengals fan my whole life. My dad's side is all from Cincinnati, everybody, and I just figured I'd pick up. So my grandparents like the Browns, so I like Ohio State from them, and then I like the Cincinnati Bearcats in basketball, but Ohio State in football.
Right.
But so probably when I started more getting into it was that Steelers wild card game. That was probably my earliest memories as a Bengals fan. And looking back on it, we let Sanu, Jones, Zeitler, Whitworth, we let them all walk, and that was the downfall of the Bengals right there.
That was. You're right, man. Marvin Jones. We never recovered from Marvin Jones. We never recovered from Witt. It was, that was definitely the downfall.
Yeah. Did Phillip Rivers retire? Because I keep forgetting.
Yep. Phillip Rivers did retire at the end of the season, so he is out of there. I think they have Stafford over with the Colts now. So, yes, sir.
I think we signed a UDFA quarterback, something Hill.
I'm gonna have to check that out. Hopefully it'll be
Puka, a tight end, and then a QB.
A QB,
which I think is good because Brandon Allen was okay. He's shown flashes of being a good backup, but then in that Dolphins game, he made a lot of bad throws.
Yeah, he did. You're right about that, bro. You're right about that, Elijah. Well, I appreciate you from coming on, man. You have to come on again, man. We appreciated you dropping the insight. You definitely know your stuff, and thanks for coming on Q&Ace, bro.
No problem. Have a nice night.
All right, who day, brother?
Who day? Bye.
All right, my man Steven and jump back in. What's up, man?
Yo, what's up? I did not expect that. I was just chilling in the chat, just chatting with kids. I was not expecting you to bring back in. Wasn't even my intention. I was just chilling there watching on my bed. I didn't even expect you to bring me back on. No cap.
Nah, all good, bro. Well, I'm about to wrap it up, Steven. Was there anything you wanted to say before we get out of here?
Shout out to that little man real quick. That was he knew his stuff, not gonna lie, he knew his stuff, but what was I gonna say? Dang. I was thinking about those last few Marvin years, and I was thinking like Marvin in those trash years, he was having at least 6 or 7 wins, and I was thinking like Zach has Joe Burrow, a better quarterback, and still has Marvin guys and a lot of good players, and he can't do that. I was just wondering. I was just thinking about that. I wasn't even like, I don't even know what to bring up, so I just wanted to bring that up, I guess.
Nah, all good, bro. Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see, bro. We'll have to see what it is.
With Andy Dalton and 10 times worse. I mean, I don't even know if it was probably. Yeah, it was worse. Cedric O'Blade is so much worse. With the worst O-line, right? A receiving core that's way worse. They had Tyler Boyd when they barely used him. They had AJ Green. He was still good, but he was basically their only receiver. Tyler Boyd came in here and there. They had barely any tight ends. They had Joe Mixon, who they barely used. They had random running backs. They had Giovanni, who they barely used either. They
Right.
had a okay defense, and they still did better. And we made all these splash signings. We have Joe Burrow, and he did worse. Like I don't get how
Yeah.
that. I mean, I get how that works. Like I get your inexperience, but I don't get how it gets that bad. Like
We gotta give him another chance, Steven. He got
yeah,
another year.
I am giving him another chance because if Joe Burrow, like I was surprised when Joe Burrow was like sticking his neck out for him because I'm like I would never do that. He was trash, and now that Joe Burrow is sticking his neck out for them, I think Joe Burrow, like he's been around great coaches. He's been around Urban Meyer, Ryan Day, Ed Orgeron, Joe Brady. Those are 4 coaches that, like, if they went to the NFL, like, well, 2 of them are already probably going to be, Urban Meyer's a coach already in the NFL, right? Ryan Day, he'll probably stay at Ohio State for a while, but I think he could be an NFL coach. He was an NFL coach at one point. He's developed Justin Fields, and he coaches one of the best teams in college football right now. Joe Brady, who there's no way. I don't even know how he wasn't even a coach this year. Like they're taking like the Texans are picking trash coaches. Like the Ravens, I don't even know the Ravens defensive coordinator. He's not trash, but like I wouldn't take him over Joe Brady or Eric Bieniemy. And then he's been around Ed Orgeron and won national championship. And the LSU's still good. They just needed a quarterback. So
that's real.
So he knows what good coaching looks like. And if he's sticking his neck out for Zach Taylor, I don't know if it's him being a nice guy or him's really like, yeah, he's a good coach. It's just rumors making everyone look trash.
That's real. Well, Steven, we're about to conclude the Q&Ace tonight. Appreciate you for coming through. Appreciate everybody for coming through. And thank you guys, and hope to see you next week. This concludes Q&Ace, and we will be out.
Good day.